The bank that holds your money does not work for you. It never did. And the moment you understand how it treats you based on what you're worth, everything you thought you knew about money will feel like a lie you were told to keep you comfortable. Picture two people walking into the same bank on the same morning. One of them has $2,000 in their checking account. The other has $2 million. They walk through the same doors. They breathe the same recycled air. They both hand their ID to someone behind a desk. But from that moment forward, nothing is the same. One of them will wait in line. One of them will not. One of them will pay fees. One of them will be paid. One of them will be told no. The other will never even be asked the question. This isn't a metaphor. This is how the financial system is architecturally designed, layer by layer, to give more to those who already have it. And today we're going to walk through every single level, because the further we go, the stranger it gets. Level 1, the standard customer. If you have under $10,000, you are not a customer. You are a product. Banks at this level charge you monthly maintenance fees just to hold your money. They charge you for overdrafting by $3. They charge you for using the wrong ATM. They charge you for paper statements, for inactivity, for breathing in their direction on a Tuesday. And here's the part that should bother you. The average American pays over $250 a year in bank fees, not for anything, just to access their own money. But fees are just the surface. What's underneath is darker. Banks use your deposits, your money, to make loans to other people. They earn interest on those loans. They keep the profit, and they pay you at most 0.01% APY on your savings account. You are the raw material. You are not the client. The bank's actual business model at this level is simple. Extract small amounts from millions of people who don't have the leverage to push back. And most people never push back because they don't know there are other options, and because the bank made sure of that. Level 2, the middle tier. Now let's say you've built some savings. You're somewhere between $10,000 and $100,000. Something shifts, the fees start to disappear. You get a slightly better interest rate, still embarrassing, but better. A human being might actually call you back within 24 hours. You're now what the bank considers a relationship customer. But here's what they don't tell you about that relationship. It's not mutual. The bank knows something about you at this level that you might not know about yourself. You are financially stable enough to ignore. You've got enough money that you're not a liability, but not enough that you require real attention. You're comfortable, you're loyal, you're not going anywhere, and comfortable customers don't ask questions. They don't call to negotiate rates. They don't threaten to leave. They accept the 0.5% savings yield, while the bank quietly earns 7% lending your money out the back door. This is where the system gets psychologically interesting, because the bank isn't exploiting your poverty at this level. It's exploiting your contentment, and contentment, it turns out, is even easier to exploit. Escalation, the turning point. But then something changes at $250,000. You get a call, not an email, not an automated notification, an actual human voice. They call it private banking. And the first time it happens, it feels almost surreal, like you've crossed some invisible line nobody told you existed. A dedicated advisor, a private phone number, priority processing, a person who knows your name before you say it. But this is where I need you to pay close attention, and because this is where the bank's true business model reveals itself. At this level, they're not charging you for services, they're offering you services and charging you in ways you'll never see on a statement. The private banker isn't just your advisor. They're a salesperson with a relationship disguise. Their job is to move your money into the bank's investment products. Their bonuses are tied to your asset allocation. The more of your portfolio they manage, the more they earn. The warmth is real. The care feels real. But the structure underneath it, it is a machine, and you just became a high-value component. Level 3, the affluent tier. Above $1 million, the language changes completely. They stop calling it banking. Now it's wealth management. Now you have a family office liaison. Now there are tax strategists, estate planners, and portfolio architects. all under one roof, all attached to your name. And this is where something philosophically disturbing happens. The bank stops being a place that holds your money. It becomes a place that shapes your identity. Because at this level, the bank isn't just managing your assets, it's managing your psychology. They host private dinners. They invite you to exclusive market briefings. They make you feel like you're inside the room, the real room, where the real decisions are made. Or you're not just a customer anymore, you are part of a club. And belonging to a club changes how you behave. You stay loyal. You refer your friends. You trust the advice because the advisor has been to your home. This is the part almost nobody talks about. Wealth management at the high end is not primarily a financial service. It's a retention strategy dressed in cashmere. The ultra wealthy are, for any of the final revelation above $30 million, we enter a different dimension entirely. Here the rules that governed every other level simply stop applying. Banks at this tier don't charge fees. They pay you to bank with them. They offer credit at near zero interest rates. Not because you need the money, but because borrowing is the tax strategy. You borrow against your assets. You never sell. You never realize a taxable gain. You don't work for money at this level. Money works for you, and the bank facilitates that with a level of precision most people don't even know exists. But this is where it gets existentially unsettling. The ultra wealthy don't use banks the way you use banks. They use banks the way governments use banks, as tools, as infrastructure, as leverage. And the bank, the same institution that charged you $35 for an overdraft, will fly someone to meet them, will waive underwriting requirements, will restructure entire product lines around their preferences. Same institution, different universe. So what is this really about? Because if you step back and look at the full picture, from the person paying $12 a month just to have a checking account, all the way to the billionaire using margin loans to fund a lifestyle without triggering a single dollar of taxable income, you start to see something that cuts much deeper than finance. This isn't just about banks, it's about how every major system in modern society is quietly structured around the same invisible principle. Your access to leverage, care, and opportunity is proportional to how much you already have. The bank doesn't make the rules of society, but it reflects them more honestly than almost anything else we interact with. And here's the part that should stay with you. Most people will spend their entire lives in the bottom two tiers. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack ambition, but because nobody ever showed them the architecture of the building they were standing in. They were too busy paying the fees to look at the blueprint. The bank knows exactly what you're worth to them. The question is, do you? Because the moment you understand how the game is designed, you stop playing by rules that were written for someone else's benefit, and that quietly, slowly, irreversibly, is how you change which tier calls you next.